Alright, everybody. From this point on, I'll tell you the reason why I hate rias so much. Yes, you just said that. Cause like you said, I'm gonna show it to you once and for all. Cobra, you already said that. Oh, right. Yeah, we're finally gonna figure it out that we're gonna finally figure it out. Yeah, hope this mystery will be solved. Hey, when this is over, how about you for that you that I can ask you something? Okay, what is it? Well, after this rant is done. Okay? So, tell us. Rias Gremory, an heiress of the Gremory clan, after her oldest brother Zerzex took the position of Lucifer. Rias is the sole daughter of the youngest child of Sioticus and Venolana, the aunt of Melicus Gremory, and maternal cousin of Sariorg, Baal, and the other one that I can't say it. She became known as the Crimson Hair Ruined Princess because of her color of her hair and power of destruction. Now, her first year as a college student at Kuo Academy, the former president of the Occult Research Club, and the school's, I hate to say this, number one beauty as well as one of the Kuo Academy's great ladies alongside Akano, and she's one of Issei's fiancés. Yeah, we get all that. She is one of the beautiful females in High School DxD. That is true, mate. Yeah, same here. But that doesn't explain things. I mean, like, continue. Alright, now for her backstory. She's the daughter of the second child of the Gremory family. She became the heir after her brother, Sir Zex, became a Satan Lucifer, losing his right as the heir to the house. After being announced as an heiress of the Gremory clan, Rias was eventually placed into an engagement with Riser Phoenix when she was a child. It's not known how old she was when she was engaged to Riser. If I had to take a guess, Riz would have been, if I had to take a guess, she would have been like 5 or 7 years old at the time. Again, it's not known how old she was when she was engaged to that Phoenix. Okay. Okay, first thing you talked about, well, me and the 4 others said about arranged marriages between Rias and Riser. That's just disturbing. I mean, seriously. We just talked about it, and now this? What the heck, man? What kind of father would do that to her own daughter? I mean, it's not like the Gremory clan aren't even famous, are they? Well, technically, yes, but I don't know if this is canon or not. But if it is. Anyways, as I was saying, in a plot of the series, Riz has reincarnated Akano, Konako, Kiba, and Gasper as members of her peerage. Rias met Akano, her queen, her first servant, and best friend in Japan, saving Akano from being killed by her fellow Hamajima clan members after Akano accidentally entered Heinrich territory. She then met Konako, her second servant after her brothers rescued from being executed, leaving Konako under Rias' care. She later reincarnated both Kiba and Gasper, the former who died after being part of the Holy Sword Project, and the latter killed by a vampire hunters. Yeah, we've heard about their backstory. I mean, like poor Konako, Kiba, Akano, and Gasper. They've been through a lot. Well, yeah, I guess. Kind of very coincidental if you ask me. What'd you say? Oh, nothing. I'm just thinking. You know, Junior has a point. It seems very suspicious that Rias showed up when those characters are upon death. That seems very fishy. Well, I guess we'll have to figure it out and what happens. So, anything else, Scorps? She entered Gu Academy 2 years before the series along with Akano, Sona, and Tsubaki, reviving the establishment established a cult research club, which is used as a base for her servants, and became its president. Rias and Akano went on a Kyoto trip during their second year, and Rias enjoyed every moment of it. However, they didn't plan a proper schedule of therefore were places that she wasn't able to visit, like the the Nijiro. Rias was so upset that she stomped her feet at the railway station. Also, during their second year, Rias and her club organized a haunted house for their school festival and even used real ghosts, as she requested a friendly yokai to look for job to plan the decorations. This, however, got them in a lot of trouble with Sona, who scolded them for using the real thing. And here are some fun facts about Rias and her Gormori clan. Like, well, according to the lore of High School DxD, the females in the Gormori clan seem to have a habit of pinching their husband slash lover's cheek whenever they do something silly or embarrassing. This implies to Rias, Vitellana, and Grafia. And the males in the Gormori clan are weak against their wife slash lover when angered. This implies to Issei, Serzex, and Sioticus. So, wait. So basically, the Grimoire clan is a matriarch or matriarchal society? Well, it's not known, or it hasn't been stated or specified if the Grimoire clan are matriarchal. So, we'll never know what it is, what backstory it is of the lore. And another thing, the only Grimoire males who don't have a harem are Serzex, due to being a Satan, and Milicus, due to his age. You know, I've been thinking about that. Devil said in the DxD, Devil Law agrees of polygamy, having multiple women. But when I think about it, That doesn't make any sense. I mean, Riser has a full peerage of females, except the sister, Ravel. Ravel. How come Sir Zex and Xionicus don't have a harem? That doesn't even make any sense. You know, that's a good question. How come those two devils of the Grimoire clan don't have a harem while the others do have? It's still a mystery. Okay, maybe this is very hypocritical. Super hypocritical. Yeah, I mean, like, how come Circex married Graphia and Sioticus married Venelana when those two could have a harem, but instead they only have one female? Why is that? Ugh, like I said before, a mystery that we'll never know about. But anyways, so you've already told us about her backstory and her family, but you didn't tell us why you hate her. Oh, I'll tell you. Okay, but lastly, her personality. So, as a devil from the House of Gremory, Rias is very kind and compassionate, especially to her servants and people close to her. I mean, sure, they treat their servants like family, but there are some issues about it. I'll get onto that later. When she gets angry and violent whenever people insult her or her peerage, showing a fiery side to her. This also plays into the fact that she dislikes cruelty towards people, as shown with her disgust over a certain vampire who abused his own sister for his own benefit, and how she killed the fallen angels such as Miteld, Donasik, and Kalawana, and Rainier for their cruel treatment of Issei. She also holds great sympathy towards Sariorg and his mother, Michela Bale, for how badly they were treated by the Bell clan. You see, I told you. Why do you hate her? She's kind and passionate towards her peerage. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah, I guess so, Cobra, but what makes you say that? Well, in the anime that we saw, there are some flaws with her. But Scorpio, can I say something? Go ahead. Well, Rias, she thinks Issei as a special person and always gets jealous when girls are around him, becoming a totally different person when she sees him and other girls together, or when it comes to training. Despite her mature stature, like a woman, Rias tends to act her own age and becomes frustrated whenever girls flirt with Issei. While Rias is usually calm and mature in most situations, she loses her mature aura and presence when she sees any girl, especially Akano, flirting with or seducing Issei. Yeah, that is true. She does get, well, angry whenever females trying to flirt with Issei. True that, Moit. Yeah, we've seen it in every episode in the seasons. I mean, really? I well, I get why she likes him, but she had to go that far. But seriously? You know, there's an old saying: love can make you do crazy things. Yeah, true. Yep. So that's basically it that I have to say. Alright. Reyes holds her older brother Sussex in high regard, despite her older brother's antics of being a siscon, because she deeply cares for him. When Rias was a child, she was entirely dependent on him and held him in admiration, while also feeling inferior to him at the same time. Rias loves participating in raiding games, as she dreams of becoming the raiding game champion. Really? That's her dream? Yes. And Rias is also very competitive and hates to lose, especially after losing her first rating game against Riser. And here's this another thing. Due to Rias being spoiled by her father and her brother, Sursex came in an early age. Rias has somewhat impatient and selfish personality, being being spend thief. Rias enjoyed shopping as a hobby and because of her bad money spending habit. Her mother Venelana and her sister-in-law Graphia often scold her for frequent spending, as her mother reconsidered the amount of money she allowed as allowance. Well, some part of that is true. I mean, she does come off as spoiled and selfish and gets what they want. Yeah, that is true. We've seen it in every season. But so we've heard about it. Now tell us why you hate her. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because she is nothing more but a spoiled, selfish, power hungry, greedy, and arrogant. And she had let Issei die. Wait, really? That's why you hate her so much? Yes. Now, but what do you, what does that have to do with that she let Issei die? Really? Don't you even get the first episode? Or did you forget? Of course I watched the first episode. Yeah, I was there too. I was here as well. I mean, come on. Really, you think... I mean, you've hated Rias since the first episode of the first season. Yes, true. But originally I did had some character like of her, but that all changed when Issei was killed by his ex. And until I figured it out, something was off. So wait, what do you mean you figured something was off? Let me tell you. She used the fallen angels, Rainier, in order to get Issei, she only cared for his power. She was going to use him in order to get out of the arranged marriage, and she didn't help anyone in her group. What do you mean their group? I'm talking about her peerage. She didn't help them with their trauma since she watched the entire time. She watched everyone's trauma from their start to finish. Okay, but I mean, true that Rias does appear when Akano was almost gonna get killed, and Konako was almost executed, and Kiba almost died, and Gasper and Issei was when died almost. But yeah, I kind of agree. She never helps her peerage members with traumatic experience, or they have PTSD. How come she didn't help them? Wilmoid, I think it's one of those things that you don't want to talk about their traumatic experience because they would rather forget about what happened to their past. But it still lingers to this day. True. And another thing, Reyes knew that fallen angels were in her territory the entire time. And none of the devils knew he had a secret gear. Wait, what are you talking about? There's no way that Rias would let anyone in their territory. Why would she do that? I mean, didn't you see the episode where she saw Donna Seek? And when Donna Seek said, I didn't know this territory belongs to the Gremory. And she just let him go. I mean, seriously. No stupid idiot would ever even enter devil territory if they don't know who it belongs to. But the question is, how come Rias let those fallen angels enter territory, as Issei was killed by them? What? But I don't answer that. It'll be answered later. And for her engagement to Riser, she waited for Issei to die so she could reincarnate him, and he would see her as a savior. And instead of asking him to join her periods, but instead she wanted eternal servitude. Instead of that, because she wanted him to get out of her arranged marriage and use him. Remember what I said about devils and their backstory? Yeah, they would use people. Once their usefulness is done, they throw them away like trash. I mean, they are greedy and horrible. But wait, there's more. She never even trained her peerage. What? As I said before, she never trained her peerage because she could have fought against her betrothed for her freedom quite some time ago. Why she didn't train all of this time? If she really had opposed the arranged marriage, she should have done everything at her disposal to gain strength. This is the reason her family doesn't take her seriously. When Rias says she didn't want to marry her fiance, she never did anything but complain about it after all. Something she should have done a long time ago. She should have done it in the beginning, but she have been lazy all of this time, and now she expected the solution to her problem to magically land on her lap. But life doesn't work like that. After today, you must take responsibility for their decisions and actions. And Rias, she let her love for Japan and its entertainment industry distracted her, and she and and she had forgotten her troubles with busy life of a regular high school student until her problems came to bite her in the butt. She haven't been doing anything to help her peerage through in her defense. She was more worried about her wedding with Riser. She has been a bundle of nerves and stress since she had been told by that she was to be wed by Riser. But well, I you come on, that doesn't change anything. Why do you hate her? I mean, what about the time she does? What about like really, Cobra? Think. Just think for a second. If she had even helped her peerage or even trained them against Riser, because Riser has experience in raiding games and Rias doesn't. So technically, she would lose automatically. And she never even helped them all this time or even trained. But instead, she's just lazy off her butt instead of training, slacking off. But her chosen problems came to bite her in the butt. And that's what she deserves. But uh, uh you know, I've been thinking, what? The fan fictions of High School DxD? Yes, I read those. Yeah, there has been a lot of dislike for Rias. To those people who watch the anime, they have a certain dislike of Rias so much because they wrote fan fictions about her being an evil, power hungry, greedy, arrogant devil. Because in fan fictions, where she gets what she deserves, like being punished, being stripped of her status, or being killed by Issei or another character of an OC character. Yeah, but I read those, boy. And those are really pretty fan fictions. Me too. I read those fanfics of Rias being killed in every fanfic. I mean, sure there are, I mean, sure she does have her flaws, her personality and her everything, really. No, you're wrong. I mean, come on. Come on, you two, back me up. I mean, sorry, he does have a point. Yeah, I kind of agree. But all right. Let me tell you this question. And everyone you're watching, I'll ask you this question if you have seen High School DxD and if you have a certain dislike about Rias. I'd like to hear from you in the comments below. Anyways, let me ask you this. Would Rias have saved you if you didn't have a secret gear or any secret gear? Would she have left you to die? Well, well, uh, no, because she wouldn't. She wouldn't have saved you from being killed. If you don't have a secret gear, she would have left you to die. See? And a second question. If you had been a normal student like everybody else in school, would Rias even notice you? No, she wouldn't notice me. But what about if you're being friends with her in your childhood? Well, that is true if you have met Rias as a child, but that wouldn't make much of a difference because, devils and humans relationship are because like I said, devils want to remain pure-blooded devils because they don't want to mate with humans as hybrids. I mean, even devil hybrids in DXD are looked down upon and ridiculed and discriminated against. Well, true. And here's the third and final question. How would Rias have seen you without being known as the Red Dragon Emperor back then? Not someone of their time, I guess, but you see my point? Well, I. And here's the sad and the dark truth in DXD. Supernatural beings, mainly the females, none of the females would have liked as a normal person. They're just drawn by power, not by heart or love. Because most of them are lustful, greedy, and manipulative, ruining the lives of others. Wow, really? I mean, if I were to date a devil, they don't even want love or anything. They just want power and status. That is true, might. But what about Junior? He's the prince of monsters. Well, here's the difference. At least I'm not a spoiled brat like the others, and I don't get involved in arranged marriages because my father and my grandfather would not allow it because my species are an endangered species, so because we are not allowed to be in arranged marriages because that's against our law and our code. Don't involve an endangered species like me into an arranged marriage that doesn't have love. But Junior, what happens if a devil says that if you're being in arranged marriage with their daughter? Well, if it does happen, if I was in DXD, I would have disagreed with it. I would not be involved in. Well, then again, if I was forced into and threaten my family or my friends, I would beat the crap out of them. Doesn't it mean if you beat a female devil? Yes. Isn't it against the law? But here's the difference. In the human world, fighting a female or beating up a woman is illegal. But in a supernatural world, that doesn't count because the humans of DXD doesn't know about the existence of devils, fallen angels, or angels, so technically it doesn't count. Well, if they find out if they are the supernatural beings, that's a whole other story. Well, but Junior, you know, I finally realized something. What? After seeing the first episode, it was Scorpio's dislike for Rias. It took me 2 years to realize it, and it hit me. Rias did let Issei die, just because of his sacred gear to help her with her arranged marriage. And now I know. And you know what? I lost all respect for her. That died. Well, it took me 4 years to realize it too. But yeah, I'm the same with him. What about you four? Well, after everything that's happened, I don't know. Me too. I mean, heck, I even like her. But now, I don't anymore. Because everything that's said was true. But think, Cobra, think. I mean, seriously. Didn't you hear what I said about her flaws and her personality and her greedy nature? Well, I. You know. Um. You know, Cobra, you're right. I mean, you're right. She is spoiled and greedy and arrogant and doesn't care about the person, about their feelings. They only care about power and status. But what happens if you don't have a secret gear if you're a reincarnated devil? Well, for that question, I don't know. I mean, if a person that is reincarnated doesn't have a secret gear, I can't imagine what will happen to them. Either be mistreated or looked down upon, or have their evil pieces returned to their master. But that reincarnated devil would die. Now here's a question for you a lot. If you find out that you've been reincarnated as a devil against your will without your consent, what would you do if that happens? Well, obviously I would be angry and upset about that being reincarnated against my will, that I don't want to be part of it. Same here, Moit. I would be angry. Well, I would be disappointed. I'm with you, brother. What about you, Junior? Well, if that would have happened to me, I would be very furious and very vengeful. Well, no, you, Junior, because you always get angry, and if you find out what happens, yeah, I would beat them to a pulp. Well, technically, beat them to near death if I were to reincarnate against my will and without my consent. What about Sona? Well, if Sona asked me that I want to be part of her peerage, I would say no. And she would respect my decision and leave me alone. But with Rias, she would not, because she would continue to harass you to join her peerage until you snap. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Alright, I see your point. I see your point, Scorpio, why you hate her. But now you open my eyes, and now I realized how terrible she is. Like you said, if she reincarnated me against my will, I wouldn't like it. And like you said, there is no devil law that you can hate your master for all eternity. But what about you, Scorpio? What would you do if that happens to you? Well, if I find out that happened, I would do everything in my power to remove my evil pieces inside me. Once I remove them, Rias would try to beg me to come back, because I am nobody's slave and servant. If she continues to harass me, I would eject her with my toxins mixed with holy water, poison from the inside out. But what is that? Yes. Well, technically, I wouldn't be classified as straight because since I would remove my evil pieces, even if I kill her. Wait, you would do that? Yes. I'm an evil genius. I never make jokes like this. Okay. Now do you see why I hate Rias because of her personality and her character? Yeah. What do you think? Well, I guess that mystery is solved. So, I think we can check that on our list. Yeah, that's true. We finally solved the mystery on why Scorpio hates Rias and the other characters. What is going on here? What's all that racket? What are you doing? Oh, hello, Mr. G. Hey, Grandpa. Oh, hello, Junior. What are you doing? Well, we were discussing about Rias and why Scorpio hates her so much. Yeah, pretty much. Yup. Rias. Wait. I do remember that name. Wait. You know her? I mean, yeah, many years ago. Yeah, many years ago that me and my wives had went to Kuo. But unfortunately, we didn't have any best relationships. So you've met Rias and you've been to Kuo. But wait, what do you mean wives? Yeah, what do you mean by that? What, you guys didn't know? Didn't know what? Well, I have wives from well, from a different universe. Okay, who the ones that you married? Well, I married Belfast, Rune, Bismarck, Akagi, and Enterprise, Hornet, even Taiho, and Atago, and Ceres. If I remember correctly, I think I married Graf Zeppelin. Because we don't talk about her personality and want to destroy the world. Because we don't talk about that. So yeah, moving on. And Friedrich and Prince Eugen and others that I can't even remember. You do realize those are World War II ships, right? Cobra, I don't think he's talking about warships. He's more talking about the ship girls from Azure Lane. Wait, you married those females from Azure Lane? But Aren't they a little young for you? Don't you think? You idiot. They're from World War II. I mean, come on. They're ships. Like for example, the HMS Belfast. Cause that ship is 86 years old as of 2025 in April. I mean, technically Belfast does have the appearance of a woman in her early 20s, but in reality, her ship is 86 years old. So technically, that would make her old enough to be a grandmother. But wait, if Mr. G married those ship girls, does that mean Junior has. Yep, I have multiple grandmothers. Though I have never met them before. But I did met Rune, Belfast, and Illustrious. I mean, heck, I even met Taiho. And she is very clingy and has a yandere tendencies, because that scared the crap out of me. Because every time she sees me, she always wants to hug me, but I run away. I mean, that's a sight that I don't want to go or even see Taiho. Sounds like you've been. Sounds like you have encountered her. Trust me, you do not want to. You do not want to see her when she gets in yandere mode. Run, run and hide. Okay. Oh yeah, I did marry Illustrious, and there was another ship that is in Azure Lane. That is the USS Yorktown class aircraft carrier Hornet CV-8. According to her ship, her age is about 81 years old. But in the anime, she looks like she's in her early 20s. Yes, that is true. Most Kensins appear to have their age of in their early 20s, 30s, or even their 40s. But still, their ships are their ships have been been there for a long time. Okay, I get the point. But anyways, so Mr. G, you said that you have met Rias, right? Yes. What was it like? Well, when I first met her, when when my kids were young, there has been some bad history, especially with my son. You mean my dad? No, my other son that me and Rune had. Wait, please don't tell me your son does have the personality of Rune, a Yang Gary behavior, right? No, he doesn't have his mother's trait of Yang Gary. Phew. But he does have my other personality side in my family that you, Junior, have. So, anyways, my son and Ria's had a very bad history since their childhood up until high school, and something happened. What happened? Well, she. Of course. It's always the bell that's gonna interrupt the most important information. I mean, come on. What do you think this is? High school? A yandere high school? Okay, you know what? You know, guys, at some point, I'm even gonna question it. because I'm really not gonna question it. So that's it. Oh, there's another part that I want to say about how I figured it out of the beginning of the episode of High School DxD. Everything that I have put in order from each scene of that show, and I'll tell you. So, anyways, let's take a break for a while. So, I'm gonna go back to my lab. Alright, so me and Junior and Niles are gonna go get something to eat. What about you four? Well, wait, Cobra, didn't you say you wanted to know why we've decided to do an unsolved mystery? Yes? Well, I'll talk to you on why we've decided that. And you three? Yeah? How about you interview Mr. G about his, son and his family's history with the devils when he was in High School DX universe? Alright, what about so? Yeah, I agree. Alright. Well, since we've have our different tasks, so I'll go with Cobra. Alright. So you wanna get something to eat? Yeah, I'm starving. Yeah, me too, I'm game. Alright, let's go. Hey, wait for me. Well, so what you wanna know about? Well, let's start with the beginning. Alright then. Well, youngsters, will sit down and listen to my story. Well, it's gonna be a long day. This concludes G&F Unsolved Mysteries. And that mystery has been solved on why Scorpio dislike or hate Rias so much. Here's a question for you all. What was your first impression when you saw the episode? Did you notice something off or suspicious about the beginning of the episode? Like and subscribe, and see you later, guys.